I've tried mediation before. It doesn't work.
And why was that, Janet? What was it about mediation that didn't work for you?
Well, the mediator asked him to disclose his financial situation, and he admitted that he has stashed a load of cash in dozens of bank accounts that I have known nothing about. He ferreted it away the minute he knew that I was leaving him. He's been deceiving me for months.
And what happened next?
Well, I walked out. How dare he deceive me like that?
Janet, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. So your husband admitted to hiding assets and came clean on everything and you walked out. And for you that meant that mediation doesn't work?
No, I've told everyone on Facebook, I've told all my friends that mediation doesn't work. I'm only here because my solicitor has told me that I have to come here for some MIMS or something, whatever that is, some box ticking for court. You are that kind of mediator, aren't you?
Yes, I'm an accredited mediator, which means I can sign off the form that allows you to take your dispute to court. And we're conducting a MIANS, a mediation information and assessment meeting. But to be honest with you, Janet, I'm rather hoping that you can come to some agreement without resorting to court. I mean, there are benefits to you if you do.
Benefits? I don't think so. All my friends tell me that mediation isn't going to get me a decent settlement and that it's fluffy. And quite frankly, the way that I've been treated, I deserve all of it. And that's never going to happen unless I get myself a decent lawyer. So I found myself a real Rottweiler. I found him on Google. And he agrees with me. He agrees that my husband is a narcissist and that mediation just won't work.
Solicitors are highly trained in legal matters, but perhaps not the best people to take advice from on mental health issues.
Well, I spoke to my hairdresser about it, and she's done an online counselling course.
Even people who know your husband may not be...
No, she doesn't know him. She only cuts women's hair.
Look, Janet, I'm here to remain fully impartial and to determine whether mediation is a viable option for you and your husband. Let me be frank with you. If you can allow me to try to help you reach an agreement out of court, that could save you a huge amount of money, time and stress. You have a child, don't you, Janet?
Yes, I have a daughter, Marilyn. Oh, she's a 1. She's 8 going on 28.
Think of it this way, Janet. You can go to court where many people pay out a minimum of $25,000 by the time they've covered court fees, solicitors' bills, and that's not including time off work, inconvenience and the stress. That money could be spent on Marilyn instead. Shall we give it a try, Janet? Perhaps this time, with my impartial support, you won't need to walk out. And if you do, you can come back into the room whenever you're ready. You can call your solicitor at any time to ask for guidance, if that's what you want to do. Shall we try it? By the way, long-term studies in the US showed that on average, women who accessed mediation ended up with larger maintenance settlements than women who went to court. Just thought I'd mention that long-term statistically relevant study, just so that you're aware that mediation may be more to your advantage than you might imagine. But you can find that out for yourself, yes?
Well, you've met her, so you know what a bloody nutter she is. She won't even let me finish a sentence, let alone hear my side of the story. And she won't stop until I'm living in a cardboard box and wearing black bin bags for clothes. And now, she won't even let me see my daughter until I've paid off one of her credit cards. But I can't do that because she's appointed a Rottweiler lawyer who's frozen all my assets. So how am I supposed to live? I'm self-representing because I'm so skinned. And you know, I might have topped myself by now if it wasn't for families need fathers. Because it's really killing me not seeing my daughter. I've had to sell the car to pay rent, and I'm living in a shitty part of town. So even if I was able to have my daughter to come and stay, there's nowhere for her to sleep. I don't even care about the money anymore. I just want to get on with my life. Why is she punishing me like this? She was the one that had an affair and wanted to leave me.
A judge won't have time to hear your story. If I told you that within the mediation structure your story will be heard, will you agree to an exploratory session?
Yes.
Well, it didn't go too badly. I still think that I could have got more money going to court, but time is money, isn't it? But I am a reasonable person, and I realised I was angry. But actually, I realised this before I went to the mediation, because I went to a retreat. I felt that I deserved some time away after everything I've been going through. And at this retreat, I was doing all these workshops, and I realised that, this is just between you and me, don't tell Brian or anything about it. I realised that I was still holding on to some guilt, that I was feeling guilty because I was the one that ended the marriage. And you'd never guess what. Brian actually said that he was okay with the decision, and that it had hurt at the time, but that he wished me well. He'd even gone to say that he was better off or something, but then the mediator coughed and I missed the end of the sentence. It was like he forgave me. And although all of this is his fault, how he always leaves the toilet seat up and the top off the end of the toothpaste, I could actually see a way of working out our finances and how he could spend some more time with Marilyn. And I could actually see a way of moving forward, how I could put all this behind me, how it was all over and done with. I was actually going to take Marilyn to Disneyland, but then I got this huge bill from the lawyer that I saw before the mediation. Who'd have thought that a few letters would cost that much?
Well, I listened to her jabber on for a bit and I managed to keep my mouth shut. And I learned a few tricks to cope with that kind of situation. The mediator persuaded me not to take any Valium because he said I needed to be present, whatever that means. When she was telling everyone about how much fun she was having with her boyfriend, she thought I was having a nervous twitch under the table, but actually I was doing some EFT tapping, which helped me stay calm in that situation. So that fooled her. We sorted everything out. I nearly blew it when I said that I was actually okay about her ending the relationship. And then I started to say I'm actually better off without you, but the mediator got something stuck in his throat, so I don't think she heard that bit, luckily. And he persuaded me not to give her everything. He pointed out to her that if I had to live in a one-bedroom slum, I wouldn't be able to have our daughter over to stay. So anyway, we came to a fairly good financial arrangement. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was a lot better than it started out. And the thing is, we've actually come to quite a good arrangement about me seeing my daughter, Marilyn. There's this idea about a handover book and online diaries, which means that I don't actually have to talk to her face to face, which is bloody brilliant. And the thing is, the best thing is, we've managed to sort this out peacefully. So that's got to have helped our daughter, because she's a really sensitive girl. She's picking up on all this. She's watching how we do this. I must say I've noticed some cut marks on her arm. I'm really worried that she started to self-harm, because I know that happens sometimes. I've been talking to some of the dads down at the Families Need Fathers, and some of them are just having a terrible time. They haven't seen their kids for years, some of them. It's really heartbreaking. So I realise how lucky I am compared with them. And the thing is, we all just want to do the best by our children, don't we? And Marilyn's watching how we're dealing with this. She's taking it all in. We just really want to do the best by our children, don't we? don't we?